Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Week 2 overreactions coming at you in just a moment. But first, we do have some unfortunate news. Kind of saw this coming, but it is now confirmed. It's an update on Jarvis Landry. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN shared this morning. Follow-up test confirmed a sprained MCL basically for Landry, which was the diagnosis yesterday on Sunday, and now it's just double confirmed. But that's a great point Fowler makes about him being one of the most durable players. He has been an Iron Man, and so has Baker Mayfield, who will be in one of these reactions as well. But here's my quick synopsis on this. It's a big blow because Landry has been kind of a glue guy for this offense. He's been there. He's been consistent. He's reliable. You know what you're going to get out of him. But there is one thing worth noting. Just looking at his last 3 seasons in Cleveland since coming over from Miami, his production is quietly just dropped down a little bit every single year in terms of targets. All right, looking at some stats right here. First year as a Browns player, 149 targets. Every year since then, it's gone down a bit by bit. 138 in year 2, and then last year, 101. So, sure, it sucks because you're already without OBJ. You don't want to lose wide receiver number 2, but I don't think it's as big as a blow as it may appear because of the name he has. Now, don't get me wrong. You want Landry out there, but I think kind of like last year when the Browns went down without OBJ, it wasn't as detrimental as it may have thought to be at the beginning, and over time we learned, okay, it's not as bad as we once thought it could be. Hopefully Landry's out for, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but maybe 4 weeks, sprained MCL. It's not horrible. He's a tough guy, rarely misses a snap, so I bet he's going to be pushing himself to get back on the gridiron as soon as possible. All right, week 2 overreactions time. First one up here, defensive coordinator Joe Woods on the hot seat. I don't know, because it's only been 2 weeks, so that's why it's in an overreaction, all right? But those 2 weeks haven't been pretty for the defense. Granted, you played Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense in week 1, so you kind of knew what you were getting into, but even then, you let Tyreek Hill walk all over you, nearly picked up 200 yards. Travis Kelce had his way with the linebackers and the safeties. It was not a good debut for a Browns defense that's had a lot of money pumped into them. Free agent acquisitions like Troy Hill and John Johnson. First-round capital picks going into Greg Newsome. You invested a lot into this defense. You expect to get a lot out of it. So Joe Woods, this ain't it right now. There's not a huge pass rush. Myles Garrett was pretty quiet in week 2, which I didn't have a problem with. But at the same time, you don't love to see that. If other people can step up and fill that void, great. But also when you're Myles Garrett, you're one of the top pass rushers in the NFL. You like to see a little more QB hurries, something along that nature. Check out the Browns defense, their stats so far. Again, it's just 2 weeks, so it's really small sample size here. But they aren't pretty numbers. And like I said, you're paying this defense a ton. There's a lot of money invested on that side of the ball. You expect more out of it, especially when you go home and you play the Texans, and the Texans make it competitive in the second half, and their backup Davis Mills marches down the field in the fourth quarter to make it a 1-score game. No, gross. So, let me get your voice on this. Do you blame Woods for the slow defensive start? Type Y for yes or N for no. I definitely think blame has to be spread around here. I wouldn't hate a Y in the comment, though. But again, I wouldn't just say it's been 2 weeks. It's been a season and 2 weeks. And hot seats are really early for week 2, but it's worth monitoring. You may have some hot buns right now. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Browns fans, if you love week 2 just because you love winning and that tailgate scene and even some of the fights in the tailgates, if you haven't seen the videos of them, I don't know, that's a little friendly fire for me, my taste. But it was fun to watch because who doesn't love a good fight video? But anyway, go ahead and subscribe right now to the Cleveland Browns Report. We'll give you the latest news and rumors all season long. My next week 2 overreaction, Baker Mayfield will beat Brett Favre's record. No, I'm not talking about one of his big records for interceptions or anything like that. I'm talking about his consecutive starts because Mayfield, the dude is just tough, okay? He makes tough look soft, all right? If that's a thing, that's Mayfield. He said it best. He woke up feeling dangerous. No, he woke up feeling like nails and bricks, hard to break. Didn't miss a snap on Sunday when it looked like he'd be missing weeks with a shoulder injury after his interception, but he played through it. And here's the record, NFL record for most consecutive starts just in regular season, not postseason, 297 for Favre. Mayfield's at 46 right now. That's a long way to go. Favre played for a long time, all right? Mayfield, he looks like the kind of player that could beat it, at least give it a run for his money. And here's how tough he is. Here's what we all knew was going to be said. But after the game yesterday, Jake Trotter, covering the Browns for ESPN, said Baker Mayfield on his left shoulder injury kind of popped in and out. Kind of popped. That's not a thing. Like, what do you mean it popped in? Like, if it happened to me, shut it down. I'm talking John Taffer, close this thing down for weeks. I'm not moving. I'm on the couch. I'm in hospice, okay? If I kind of pop my shoulder in and out. But that's why I'm not number 6 for Cleveland. So, God, the dude is just tough. Plain and simple. So, here's my question, though. Is Baker the toughest quarterback in the NFL? I don't see why not. My first vote would have been Matthew Stafford, purely from that game against the Browns, one of Stafford's first weeks of the season, of his career, excuse me, and he popped his shoulder out, put it back in, and went out to finish the game. But Baker Mayfield, wow, you kind of pop your shoulder in and out. You definitely deserve to be labeled as one of the toughest in the NFL across the board, not even just quarterbacks. Next, week 2, overreaction. DPJ will be the second leading wide receiver this season. I don't know if this is as much as an overreaction as is a testament to just how banged up this wide receiver room is, all right? No OBJ so far. Jarvis Landry is going to miss some time. So maybe there's room for a spotlight for Donovan Peoples-Jones, who, look at this, training camp and preseason MVP. He balled out in August, but we don't pay for August, all right? We watch for September, October, November, December, and most importantly, January and February. But now he's got a chance to fly up the depth chart with no Jarvis Landry, no Odell Beckham in front of him. He's been pretty quiet so far for a training camp MVP, but this Browns offense doesn't incorporate a ton of huge wide receiver packages. Now he's going to be up there. I think he played like 60% of snaps in week 2. That number's going to shoot up as him, Rashard Higgins, and Anthony Schwartz become 1, 2, and 3. The Browns also do get Davion Davis back from suspension. They only have 4 on the roster right now. Wouldn't surprise me if they look to pick one up from the practice squad or move and shuffle some pieces around. We'll keep an eye on it. But maybe DPJ time in Cleveland with enough spotlight here and depth chart room with the top 2 guys out until we get OBJ and Jarvis Landry back. So here's my question for you. What is your panic level at here for this Browns wide receiver? I'm going to scale it not 1 to 10. All right, we're going to do... You saw you right there. Oversleeping to pregnancy scare. I'm somewhere in between. I'm like at the level of realizing at 1 p.m. your parlays bust and you forgot to update your fantasy football lineup. Not quite a pregnancy scare because this Browns offense was rolling last year without Odell Beckham. I do think they can take it into a higher gear with him incorporated better into the game plan this year. But Jarvis Landry's role has quietly gone down year after year. But still, you don't want to go into any single NFL game with your top wide receiver being a second-year guy who's got, less than 20 career receptions. Next, Rashard Higgins, fairly unproven. And then your third is a rookie wide receiver who looked great in week 1, but that's where I'm at right now. Let me know what your panic level is at. Make up your own scale or just put one of those 2 down in the comments.